Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to another 80s Horror Friday for a film that I only really had very dim memories of. Only one scene had even rung a bell when I saw it. But as recently I'd reconnected with a friend from several years ago, and we were talking about movies and some of the ones that I've covered on my channel. She had brought this one up as one that she used to really enjoy. And though I do know that I'd seen it, I couldn't really remember anything specific about it. The film in question is Dolls from 1986 or 87, as I see two dates listed, but it just may have depended on when and where it was released. But anyways, this is a production by the likes of Charles Band and Brian Usna, who anybody familiar with Full Moon Features or any associated companies will recognize those names, as they brought us films like Trancers, which I did a video for a long time ago, Reanimator, which I also did a video for, and From Beyond, which I did a video for that one as well. But anyways, they made comparatively low budget films for the time when it comes to the higher budget theatrical releases, but not low quality. They stretched their money, worked hard to kind of give us a lot of very memorable titles which are still enjoyable to this day. And of course, one of those was Dolls, for which the synopsis is as follows. A dysfunctional family of three stop by a mansion during a storm. Father, stepmother, and child. The child discovers that the elderly owners are magical toy makers and have a haunted collection of dolls. Now, the only thing that I'd remembered about this, the only scene that kind of rang a bell, was after their car breaks down and they head towards this mansion that they seek is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. The kid's kind of falling behind, and the stepmother takes her toy teddy bear and throws it in the woods. And then it's kind of the little girl ends up imagining this toy teddy bear coming back, turning into a giant monster and taking out her parents, who are kind of a pain. But that was it. Just that one shot was the only thing I'd remembered going into this, or anything that I remembered as I was getting through it. Everything else felt extremely new. But I really do love stories like these. This dark and stormy night, car breaking down, seeking shelter, and getting in some trouble, or at least a mysterious and strange situation. In this case, this old couple living out there in the middle of nowhere in an area which, they say gets a lot of these storms. Something definitely kind of creepy and suspicious about them. But anyways, as for these characters, we get a great sense that this little girl is fine, nothing wrong with her, but her parents, both her biological father and her stepmother, are just horrible. Nagging each other, openly just resenting this little girl and treating her like crap, just really awful. They even are being a bit snippy too and talking down to this old couple who's taking them in for the night. And while they're settling in, three more visitors show up. Two obnoxious girls who we saw hitchhiking at the beginning of the film. They're very loud and annoying and definitely really sketchy, as well as somebody who they had flagged down, this driver who seems like a nice guy for the most part, but he's obviously being taken advantage of by these two girls. We get these characters introduced quickly and get to know them well enough to just as quickly launch us into this story. This is something else that, these Charlie Band films seem to really excel at, using the time wisely and giving us a quick and entertaining story. In the case of this film, it's only about an hour and 17 minutes long by the time we get to the end of the feature. But throughout all of that, throughout that journey, we see that this old couple has tons of these dolls. They revere them. They really treat them as being special and almost magical. And they also revere childhood. They even gift one of these dolls to this little girl. And there's even a scene of the driver for those hitchhiking girls is even, very young at heart in some ways, really likes these dolls as they bring a sense of nostalgia to him as he's talking about his past and his relationship with his father. But as some of these characters act out while spending the night, such as these two hitchhikers who are trying to rip them off, they even intended to rip off the driver as well when they flagged him down. These dolls start to act out in response. Sentient little creepy and dangerous creations acting of their own accord, taking out some of these awful and disrespectful characters and leaving us wondering which, if any, will be allowed to live. as well as what's kind of behind all of this, you know, how this came to be, what's the backstory of these dolls, and how much of that are we really going to get to see in this. Now, this is a short video for a short film, like I said, only an hour and 17 minutes, but the time is used really well, as was their budget. We get a mix of stop motion and animatronics. Shots are lined up well to really set the scene and kind of bring us through everything at a fast pace, and with that short runtime, everything moves along really quickly. And like other, you know, films by like the same filmmakers, either directly or kind of within orbit of those, there is this balance of the bits of humor, horror, violence, but not too bad on that violence. You know, there's a lot of mystery in it too. And since some of these characters are pretty rotten, it kind of mutes some of those scares a little bit. You almost root for some of them being taken out, while being concerned about the ones that you actually do care for. Now, I remember seeing a lot of films like these growing up. You know, as we used to rent stuff all the time, and some of them were the cheaper ones that we would bring home. And sure, some of them didn't really work out well, but there were a surprising amount of ones like this which really did work out. Dolls really is a lot of fun, seeing these little dolls taking people out as we kind of work toward the ending of this late, dark, and stormy night. Seeing characters we don't like getting what's coming to them, while others are spared, and even a nice ending to it all, which, yeah, the ending of course is a bit unrealistic and kind of quick, but I mean, the entire film is unrealistic and quick. Like I said, low budget, short, not too deep, but it's still interesting, and there's a spooky setting, distinct characters, from this old couple to the parents, the hitchhikers and their ride, as well as this little girl, really flesh out the story, and these creepy little dolls, which make this one more than worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out my latest quick little video here for Dolls from 1986, which at the time of this video is available on Tubi and Pluto, though I do believe it's leaving soon, so it may pop up on another carrier. It's also on MGM Plus and of course paid rental, but it actually made me think about resubscribing to Full Moon Features for some like similar films such as these, or at least to finally get around to this 12-disc Puppet Master set that I got the last time I subscribed, make some videos for those maybe, even though those are more from like the 90s onward, but you know, I'd just recently switched to the 80s for a bit, and I don't think any of you would mind if I did throw something a little bit outside of the 80s on a Friday every now and then, or maybe more of these Elvira ones as well, as I still have quite a few to do from that set. Or I still have a lot of different titles of some Hammer films that I haven't gotten around to as well. So I've been meaning to get back to those. So with all those possibilities, hit that subscribe button and sound off in the comments about any other types of horror films that you might suggest as well. Check out that back catalog for some of those Hammer and Elvira ones as well. And I will see you in the next one.